What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day today. I thought it was a perfect day to come over to YouTube, give it a little love over on the YouTube side since Facebook and Instagram are going crazy today. So I've got a training today that I want to share with each and every one of you. And I believe that this is an extremely powerful training for those of you that are network marketing professionals. You know, a lot of times when we or in the process of sharing our opportunity with different prospects, we come across people that they don't see the opportunity. They don't understand the power of leveraged income. They have a hard time connecting the dots. You know, I remember when I first sat down with a prospect and he started grilling me about all these different, compensation plan questions, and I didn't have all of the answers. But one of the questions that he asked me, he says, well, how much money do you make on each sale? And I says, well, you make this percentage and that percentage. And he says, so you're telling me that you make about $3 or $4 on average on every sale in your entire organization? He says, give me a break. Do you know how much money that I make on each sale? And I remember just feeling so small because I didn't know how to handle that objection. And, there are times where, as I've just been getting my business off of the ground, that I remember looking and seeing the different percentages that are paid out. And, you think, gosh, man, I'm only making, $8 on every single sale that's made, or $5. And as your organization gets larger and larger and larger, that percentage starts to drop a little bit, right? And so, and it'll usually settle in at somewhere in the neighborhood of 4, 5, 6% of your overall organizational volume once you get to the point where you're at a true residual income side, right? I mean, in the beginning stages, when you launch a business, you've got a lot of new people that are coming in, a lot of packs that are being purchased. You might have an organization where 60, 70, 80% or even more of the people coming into the business are brand new. And so a large majority of your volume is made up from new enrollment. And so sometimes that can drive that overall percentage up, but eventually it starts to settle down and you find out what your overall average is. And it's common to be somewhere right at around 5% in the network marketing profession of your total organization sales volume. And, let's just look at a unilevel, for example. So, let's say that a unilevel starts off and maybe it pays 8% on level 1 and it pays 7% on level 2 and 6% on level 3. And maybe it goes down to, maybe 4% and then 4%, and it starts to get down to 2% and so forth, right? And then usually there's some type of a generational check match that you can pick up where you're earning 1 to 2% of the overall commissions of everybody that's deep into your organization, right? So when you average all of this out, you end up somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5% when it all kind of settles down. So you think about that, and let's just say that the average sale is, right at around 100 in commissionable volume. And let's say that you're making about 5% of each sale, means that you're making about $5 on every single sale. So you hear that and you think, gosh, you got to have a lot of people to be able to make some good money in network marketing. Well, I think you'd be surprised. And that's what I want to take you through today. I'm going to encourage you to grab a pen and paper because I think that the information I'm about to share with you, as you understand this and you go out and start sharing this with your teams, with other prospects, it's going to change their perspective in a big, big way. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's dive right in, and we're going to go and just break down the numbers. It's all about the numbers today. So again, it's common for your prospects who are looking at network marketing to overlook the income potential, right? Especially when you're earning these small amounts on each sale. And what most skeptics don't understand is network marketing is about getting paid a little bit of money off of a lot of people that are all just doing a little bit. They're just using products that they enjoy, and they're recommending them. They're referring them to others that they care about. That's really what network marketing is. So your job as a network marketing professional is to help your prospects understand the big picture. That's what your job is to see the big picture, to see the potential, and to help them make a well-informed decision. So follow me on this, okay? So let's say that in your first year in network marketing, you start this little side business, and your entire organization averages 3 sales per day, okay? Now, this is over the course of an entire year. Now, you might say, well, gosh, right now, I mean, I'm maybe lucky to get one sale per week. But what happens is a lot of times the first couple of months, you're just getting things going. But then you start to experience exponential growth. And pretty soon that daily number grows to 1, and then it grows to 2 sales. And pretty soon you start seeing 2 or 3 sales a day happening. And again, I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about in your entire organization. So let's just say that in the first year, you average 3 sales per day in your entire organization, okay? So 3 new product sales per day. And if you factor in a 20% attrition rate, okay? So that means that 20% of the people that come into the business, they're gone. They're gonna drop out at some point into the business. So they start on your product, and for whatever reason, they choose not to continue moving forward. So we're gonna use a 20% attrition rate. So at the end of the first year, you would have a total of 765 customers or members in your business. 765 customers in your business after year 1. Now, assuming that we're gonna use for just the numbers today, we're gonna assume that you're only making 3% on average on every single sale that's made. So on 3% on every single customer that's in your business. So again, remember, we're looking at 100 CV average order. And if I'm making 3% of 100, what is that? It's $3 on every sale, right? So I'm making $3 on every sale. So it can feel like at times somebody comes into your business, let's just say down 5 levels, 6 levels, 7 levels, and you get a $3 check and you think, $3, I mean, come on. But here's what I want you to understand. So if you take a look at this overall, if you're making $3 on every single customer that's in your business and you have 3 sales per day on average in the first year, what that equates to is $2,299.50 per month in income. $2,299.50 in income, or approximately $28,000 per year, just to round it off. $28,000 per year. Now, I want you guys to think about this for a moment. So what are some other careers, some jobs that pay approximately $30,000 per year? Well, a teacher's salary, the average teacher in their first year starts out right at around $35,000 per year. A sales rep for a company like AT&T or T-Mobile, they're making approximately $28,000 to $30,000 per year. An office assistant, a customer service rep, they're typically making in the neighborhood of $13 to $14 per hour. Even the average police officer starting wage, $30,000 per year. It's pretty scary, right? They're putting their life on the line and they're making $30,000 per year. What about a travel agent? $30,000 per year. Licensed esthetician, $30,000 a year. The average hairstylist in their first year, right around $30,000. You know, even just going up the scale of income just a little bit, you look at the average. I was researching McDonald's franchise owners and the amount of money that a McDonald's franchisee owner makes on average per store. It's only about $66,000. And think about that, the amount of money that they had to put up front and the amount of risk, the amount of time and effort, energy that goes to running that kind of business. So to know that you can start a business working from home, and when you get to 3 sales per day, to be able to get to a place where you're generating an income of about $30,000 a year, sure beats the alternative, right? Now, is that going to happen overnight in day one? No, and it might take you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. It may take you a year of working part-time or even in your spare time before you get to the place where you're now generating 3 sales per day on average within your organization. But at this point, you're now generating as much as all of those different careers that we've talked about. Now let's take the number up just a little bit. So let's say that, you know, your second year, you've been working hard, and now your organization is starting to average 5 sales per day. Okay, we're also going to take that attrition rate up to 30%. So now at 5 sales per day, you're starting to crank a little bit, right? Your organization has matured, and you now have a total of 1,812 people in your organization based on the new people that came in year 2, plus the people that came from year 1 over, and we're factoring in a 30% attrition rate on all of those people. So now you've got a total of 1,812 people after year 2. And again, assuming that you're paid conservatively, 3% on each sale, and we're talking about 100 CV sale, right? So 100 in commissionable volume, we're looking at $3 per sale. You're now in a situation where you're generating an income of about $5,437.50 to be exact. Or another way to look at it would be $66,000 annually. $66,000 annually in your overall business based on an average organization of just 5 sales per day. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. So $66,000, what different career paths could you choose to get to 66,000? Well, now getting up to this average income typically requires some type of a degree, whether it's a 2-year or a 4-year degree. So you're going to start seeing that come into play. And now you're looking at maybe a project manager in construction per se. You're looking at a paralegal, even a physical therapist. This is a starting income range for physical therapy. Physician's assistant, they're going to school for quite some time to be able to be a PA, to be able to get to this type of level of income. Elementary school administrator, so they've been in the game for a while before they've graduated to the vice president or vice president. What is it? Vice principal or principal of the school. Maybe an automotive service manager at a dealership. They've been doing that for quite some time. Maybe the average full-time realtor now. You're getting into the average full-time realtor income range. So not all those realtors are making multiple 6 figures, right? That's just the top tier, but this is your average. And then, of course, another one that I looked at was the average franchisee owner of a Subway. Do you know that over 50% of all franchisee owners for Subways make less than $5,000 per month after all of their expenses? $5,000 a month, that's $60,000 a year. Or in your network marketing business, you get it up to just 5 sales a day. Now, again, guys, this is happening anywhere in your organizational structure. So if I go out and get 10, 20, 30 people in my first year, and then of course go out and get a few more that second year, but now they're starting to create the same type of duplication. And let's say that by the end of the first year, you've got 100 people in your business and you're hitting that 3 sales per day. And then over time, that starts to grow. And pretty soon you've got 200, 300, 400 people in your business, and now you're averaging 5 sales per day. You're at a $66,000 a year income. At this point, many or a large majority of the people that are in the business now have options, if they want to go from part-time in network marketing to full-time. So they have some different options. The question that often comes up is, well, when should I quit my job and go full-time in network marketing? A lot of times people will completely quit whatever it is they're doing and start working on network marketing full-time from day one. And in most cases, that's a terrible decision. Network marketing was designed to be able to go to work full-time to pay the bills, but in your part-time or spare time, you work on building your fortune. So very few people can quit their day job and just start making enough money. Why? Because in the beginning, you just don't have enough time yet to create that leverage or that organizational depth that's going to create that residual income. So it really falls back on you. So unless you are a monster sponsor, right? You go out there and you just sponsor monster, I guess I should say. You go out there and sponsor like crazy. You're going to have to make up for it. You're going to have to make up for it with your personal activity. So you've got to be sponsoring, to get to this level of income, you've got to be sponsoring 20 to 30 people a month to be able to get up there and fast start or first order money until the residual aspects start to kick in. So what I like about this path is that within second year, you have the potential here to really be able to walk away from whatever it is that you're doing and start to make that transition over to full-time. And I would dare say, look, 2 years, I would ask you, is it too much to invest 2 years into a side business if you knew that 2 years from now, it was producing $66,000 a year? If you go take a look at what's the average worth or value of a income producing asset, a residual income producing asset that's paying you a yearly income, it's anywhere from 10 to 20 times that yearly income. That's the value of that asset. So if we did conservatively here, you've got a $660,000 asset that you've built inside of 2 years. My question to you is, how long would it take you to go save $660,000? How long would it take the average person to go save over $500,000? Here's the answer. Long time, because most of them don't do it. So the reality is you've got a little side business that you can start that literally within first year, very reasonable to get to that 3 sales per day average, producing close to $30,000 in income. Guys, what would an extra $30,000 in income do for most of the people you know, their households? What would it do for the average American today? It would absolutely change their life. It's the difference between being able to put a kid through college, being able to pay down some debt, be able to go to bed at night with a little bit of peace of mind. So you're changing people's lives with these little side businesses, but you're giving them a career path that has a very real potential to be able to get to a point where it's now producing some solid income that gives them some different options. Now, let's say that you're diligent, your business continues to mature, you stick with it. By the way, just a simple success formula in network marketing is just be here a year from now, be here 2 years from now. This is a game of attrition. Most people, they're going to quit. Most people that are in the business are here to get lucky. They're here with a lottery mentality. They join the business hoping that they would just strike it rich by just getting, one person in the business. So just being here a year, 2 years, and 3 years from now gives you a competitive edge. But now let's say that by year 3, you've now built a stable business on customers. And you're at the point where you also decide to go from part-time to full-time. So you're putting a little bit more effort into the business. Congratulations, by the way, because you now have the time freedom to be able to do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. And as a result, you begin to see some exponential growth in your organization. And now you're averaging 15 sales per day. Okay, 15 sales per day. This is pretty exciting when you get to this point in your business. So at 15 sales per day, by the end of the year, and again, with a 30% attrition rate, so we're going to say 30% of those people are going to drop off along the way, you would now have approximately 5,100 customers or members in your organization. So now 5,100 customers in your organization, once again, based on a 3% average on 100 CV average order, you're looking at approximately $3 per sale per month. You're now looking at a total of $15,300 annually. $15,300 annually in your business. Now, think about that for a moment. $15,000 annually, that's $183,000 per year. You are now in the top 3% of earners in the United States of America. And you've been able to do that, hypothetically speaking, based on our example here, within 3 years. Now, $180,000 per year. What are some different careers that pay out that kind of income? So we were doing some research on this, and the first thing that we found was a C-level executive of a large firm per se. So vice president of operations, usually is about $150,000. Vice president of sales, $150,000 kind of average, but it can go up depending on what you're selling. How about a pharmaceutical rep? They're in that 150 to 200 range, and that's the upper echelon of pharmaceutical reps. Then we're talking about an MD, so a family practitioner. Their average income is right at about $180,000 per year. Pediatrician, psychologist. How long do you think that it took them to go to school where they weren't earning any money at all before they got to the point where they at least had the education and that piece of paper that allowed them to even practice? We're already hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. That's not including the amount of money now that it takes to go start that practice. What else? An attorney. The average attorney is making about $144,000 per year. The average CEO, about $180,000 per year. I think you get the point. I would ask you to consider, out of all of those different career paths that we just discussed, what's the level of commitment? What's the level of hard? What's the level of hard to become a doctor? It's not easy to become a doctor. It's not easy to become a family practitioner or a psychologist. But people do it all the time. So I'm not saying that this is easy, but I would ask you to choose your hard, because life is hard in general. You're going to have to work hard no matter what you do. The question is, where do you want to be in a few years? Where do you want to be 3? What if this took you 5 years to get to this point? What if you knew that 5 years from today, you were at a point where you had $183,000 a month or a year, a month would be nice, year residual income coming in, multiply that times 10, You've got $1 million plus asset that you've now built, and you did it within 5 years. Most people work their entire lives, 30 to 40 years to get to this point. So here's my point in today's training. These are the type of things these are the kind of conversations that you want to have with your prospects. Knowing these numbers and understanding how to draw them out, we used to call them napkin presentations, showing these hypothetical examples. Now, again, it's very important that you don't make claims. There's no guarantees here. We can't control the amount of time, effort, energy, commitment, work ethic that somebody has into their business. But the question is if you knew that it was going to take you 5 years and you now have the residual income to be able to do the things that you wanted to do rather than the things that you had to do, would it be worth it to start one of those little side businesses that costs a few $100s to get started, and you put a little bit of time into it, and it starts to nurture. You start nurturing it, and it starts to grow. And here's the thing that I've learned. I've learned that time is going to go by either way. That time is going to pass either way. Whether we choose to engage in a little side business and start following Jim Rohn's philosophy, which again is to go to work full-time to pay the bills, but in your part-time or spare time, you start building your fortune, or we just choose to keep going to work and keep going to work, that time is going to pass either way. So my question is, where do you want to be 3 or 4 years from now? I don't have anything wrong against, I think education is great, and I have a lot of respect for people that go and get their college degrees and go on and even get their graduate degrees. And, I think that takes a tremendous amount of discipline and commitment. But my question is, what if they put that same type of effort here into this business? What if a doctor, 12 years of school, 16 years of school in some cases, do you think that over the period of 3 or 4 years, they could get to that same level of income without taking on that risk, without necessarily having to pay all of those student loans back, and be able to accomplish the same thing with the same type of work ethic and commitment? It really comes back to, what do you want your quality of life to be? I have nothing against people that go to work every day. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. I think one of the most noble things in the world is going to work every day to be able to take care of your family. But there comes a time where you have to look and say, am I living the life that I want to live, the quality of life that I want to live? Do I see myself living my dreams over the next 3 to 5 years? And the answer is no. If the answer is no, then what are some things that you could explore that could potentially take you from where you are to where you want to be in life? And I can tell you that there's no better path than network marketing. Being able to create a true residual income and building it on a stable business of customers is the true way to build that long-term walk-away income in your business. So with that, guys, there's my training for today. Appreciate you guys plugging in. If you got some value out of today's training, leave a little comment under the video here below. Click the like button, or feel free to go out and share this with your teams, your prospects, your organizations, and hopefully this will change some perspective, open up their mind to the possibilities of network marketing. You guys take care. We'll see you soon.